Hot picks. I always love this stock category, biotech. Our guest says the industry endured a 4-year bear market from early 2021 until April of this year. But he does think a bull market's now underway, partly because lower interest rates, but also other forces in the pharma sector. We're joined by Rahim, portfolio manager and options strategist at Next Edge Capital. Eden, before we get your picks, just very quickly, tell us, why would interest rates be important to the pharma sector?
That's a good question, Andrew, because biotech is typically, or it's quintessentially, a long duration asset.
Right.
So you invest heavily in the present and the near future in hopes of having a positive cash flow return, a sustainable positive cash flow return in the decade following. So it's the ultimate long duration asset, it's almost like having a zero coupon bond. Very, very sensitive to changes in interest rates. So, of course, we had that horrible hike cycle where from February 2021, we saw 2-year yields go from a quarter basis points to as high as 550, 3-4 years later. And now that is going the other way. So that's a real tailwind for a sector like biotech.
Start off with your first idea, if you would. Legend Biotech, LEGN. What are they working on?
So Legend developed the best-in-class therapy. The therapy is called CAR-T, chimeric antigen receptor thyroid. And what it does, you apherese a cancer patient's T cells, and you take it aside and you retrain it to attack a certain kind of cancer. In this case, it's multiple myeloma. And you reinfuse it, one dose. That's it, just one dose. And then your body is trained, your T cells are trained to produce T cells to attack that cancer. And what's remarkable about their therapy, Carvykti, first, it was approved about 3 or 4 years ago in 4th-line multiple myeloma, and then in 2nd line a year and a half ago, and in 2 years in 1st line. But what's remarkable is that we now have 5-year data for Carvykti in 4th-line patients. So they are at the end of the road. They will not live much longer. But in the case of patients treated with Carvykti, over a third of them live beyond 5 years, which is inconceivable. So that makes it a functional cure in biotech terms. If you can allow patients that really have no hope of surviving much longer to live beyond 5 years. And so in a couple of years, we'll get 1st line, and every approval increases their market size by about 5 times the number of patients. And so they were actually capacity constrained. But that will be alleviated by the end of this year. They're partnering with Johnson & Johnson, who has expectations that this will be a $5 billion drug by 2030. So they get half the revenues on that. And so, it's trading down here at around $5 billion enterprise value, a $6 billion cap, plus $1 billion in cash. They turned profitable in the 4th quarter, and substantial EPS growth from 2026 on. So I just think it's just one of the best available values. And we know super growth stocks, you see that, they have the earnings growth, they have it there, and the market hasn't recognized it yet. I think that's the case here.
I'm really sorry, we are tight for time now. I was too interested in Legend. Give us the quick and dirty on TG Therapeutics, please. Why do you like to look at this one?
Sure. TG Therapeutics developed a therapy called Briumvi, and it treats relapse-remitting multiple sclerosis. It competes against Roche's Ocrevus, and it's taking market share. It's growing rapidly. We got in around 50, and it got as high as 45. It's back to 33. It's going to achieve $600 million in revenues this year and $900 million next year. And then in 2 years, it should get approval for a subcutaneous version, which will double its potential addressable market by an additional $1.3 billion into the 2030s. So we think it's tremendous value. And, in this risky environment where, the market's risky, and you want growth stocks that can grow through anything, and it's not economically sensitive. We're seeing risks everywhere in the marketplace, and these stocks provide a great hiding place for long-term growth.
And finally, just give us a quick one on Alpha Cognition as well, please.
Sure. Well, Alpha Cognition is actually a Canadian company. It's a microcap Canadian biotech. They got approval for Zunville, which treats Alzheimer's cognitive symptoms, and it just cashed up again, so it has enough cash. The launch will really take flight in 2026 into the Medicare long-term care market. The addressable market is about 250 million. Again, there we'll see rapid revenue growth. We think the valuation is great. The visibility is great. Zunville has a vastly superior gastrointestinal side effect and insomnia benefit. So we think it will take away a market from the other acetylcholine and esterase inhibitors out there, and has a very bright growth future in our view.
Eden, thank you very much indeed. Sorry, we didn't have a lot of time for the second and third ideas. Eden Rahim, portfolio manager and options strategist at Next Edge Capital.